The Uncle Henry Show here on the CW55. What a blessing it is that you own a television. I don't know what's going on in your life, but if you're looking for the silver lining to the dark cloud, you own a television. Congratulations. I'm Uncle Henry. I'm the host of the Uncle Henry Show, a radio show heard weekday mornings between 5 and 9 on News Radio 710 WNTM and 99.5 FM, The Jag. You can also hear the show on the iHeartRadio app. Just get the app. It's free. And then look me up. Look up WNTM. Look up The Jag, and you can listen on the app. Radio show hasn't started yet. Right now, the radio listener is hearing weather, news, all that kind of stuff. Right now, it's me and you and Ariel here on this Friday morning. Friday. Remember what Wet Willie say? Weekend, do what you want to do. Weekend, when your working days are through. Weekend. Here we are. Now, today's show will be a little discombobulated because I'm operating on about 3 hours of sleep. I was out late last night. I saw the new Wonder Woman movie. I did. I went and saw the Wonder Woman movie. I'm very, very excited to report to you that I liked it. Most modern movies I don't like, but Wonder Woman is sent into the world of men to bring peace and love. Kind of like Ringo Starr. Peace and love, peace and love. In order to bring peace and love, there's a lot of punching, stabbing, arrows are shot into people, kicking. I mean, there was everything I like in a movie is when people are represented as bad guys and somebody who's represented as good, and the good get to beat up the bad. Now, in real life, it doesn't always happen like that. But I enjoyed it very much, very much. I'll have reviews for you later in the morning. Due to my sleep deprivation, though, my attention span is like this, so I'm probably going to lose my train of thought in mid-sentence on many occasions. So bear with me, please. Ariel, please join me here quickly before we go on to radio. Ariel, when I greeted Ariel this morning in her video producer cubby hole, it was one of the more extended yawns. Now, were you up late also, or what's going on?
No, it's just been like this really long week. I don't know why. But I've been here late like every day this week, at least noon or later. I've been here.
Okay. Now, Ariel is going to be out live on location today, so if you want to meet Ariel and discuss her blog posts with her, she's going to be at Metro PCS, Pleasant Valley. Where on Pleasant Valley Road is this?
I'm pretty sure it's in a shopping center on Pleasant Valley. I'm not sure the exact location yet. I'll look it up, but I'm pretty sure it's in a shopping center on Pleasant Valley.
Okay, so Ariel is going to be at Metro PCS today from noon to 2, an opportunity for you to meet Ariel face-to-face and discuss all of your thoughts about life with Ariel. So do you like it being from noon to 2 instead of late in the day?
I haven't decided yet because I kind of like the 3 to 5 because then I can just leave and go right home. But there's a good chance that when I come back at 2, they're going to make me do some more work.
Oh.
I don't like those possibilities.
Wow. Okay. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that you could out of the blue be grabbed for something.
Be grabbed and say, "Oh, by the way, since you're here." No. I'm not here. You don't really see me.
Okay. All right. Well, be very careful about that.
I plan to.
All right. Thank you, Ariel. Coming up later in the program, Ariel will show us some of the video. She went to the pole dancing fitness class this week and took some video. She'll share some of that with us in about 20-25 minutes. You can also go see it right now at her blog post on thebeatofmobile.com. Thebeatofmobile.com. And you can get a better idea of what that is all about. All right, stand by. We're about to start the radio show.
Mercedes-Benz of Mobile Studios. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Psalm 118:24, King James Version. This is the day which the Lord hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. New International Version. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it.
Wake up! Wake up, everybody! Wake up! Wake up, everybody! Don't disregard what I have to say just because I'm intoxicated.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. On a Friday weekend, do what you want to do. Weekend, when your working days are through, weekend. How are you? Things are just, we're excited. We've got air conditioning. Air conditioning is functioning. The electricity is on. Coffee machine works. We have so many bountiful blessings with all this electricity and coffee machines and air conditioning. Ariel and I can both walk. We're ambulatory. Not to brag, but we're ambulatory. So just all these blessings we're counting today. What a day of blessings it is. Here in radio and TV land, you the radio listener can watch on the CW55 if you care to look at us. Not a lot to look at, really, but here we are. You can maybe guess as to what our true feelings are or what our health might be just by looking at us on the CW55. Yesterday, the President of the United States of America pulled out of the Paris Climate Accords. People got really mad. I didn't look a lot on Twitter, but I looked on Facebook. Some people were saying it was the final straw. There seems to be a final straw every day for some people. Well, oh my goodness, yesterday people were very, very upset. And I got very confused trying to understand all of it because I kept hearing that the whole thing was voluntary anyway. So if it's voluntary, then what difference does it make? We voluntarily were in it. Now we're voluntarily out of it. Was it really voluntary? Or was it mandatory for us and voluntary for everybody else? I haven't figured that part out yet. The whole voluntary. It was all voluntary. But we'll get into more of that in just a moment. The city of Pittsburgh was highlighted. So what a wonderful thing for Pittsburgh. President Trump saying he was elected to be president of Pittsburgh. I wonder if somebody's already got the T-shirts printed up of President of Pittsburgh T-shirts. I have more for you on this and many other topics as we move forward on the Uncle Henry Show. Please stick with the show if you can bear to.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
Not much out there this early stage of the morning drive. If you're traveling I-10 across the Bayway through the Wallace Tunnel, Causeway and the Bankhead, and the drive on I-65 from Pritchard and Chickasaw down to the I-10, you're moving well. We always hope for the best on the Friday morning drive-in particular, and we seem to be off to a good start so far. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
First Alert Weather from WKRG News 5 and the Chemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
Clouds, rain, and humidity linger. I'm meteorologist John Nodar with the News 5 First Alert Storm Team. Yes, the wet weather pattern continues today, tomorrow, and Sunday as well, with 60% rain chances each day, highs in the mid-80s and lows near 70. There is light at the end of the tunnel. By the middle of next week, some drier and slightly cooler air moves in.
Make Uncle Henry a morning habit. News Radio 710 WNTM.
Hey there. This is Dr. Vanessa Marie Perry, the host of the Love Right Unplugged podcast on iHeartRadio, where we interview the top relationship experts, coaches, matchmakers, therapists, and couples. The podcast provides advice, tips, and inspiration to singles and couples on how to develop and maintain a healthy relationship. Check us out weekly. Search for Love Right Unplugged on iHeartRadio.
Roll Tide. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Good morning, Uncle Henry. Here's Proverbs 23, the King James Version. It is an honor for a man to cease from strife, but every fool will be meddling. The New International Version. It is to a man's honor to avoid strife, but every fool is quick to quarrel. Proverbs 23.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show or watching the Uncle Henry Show. Uncle Henry Show back now on the CW55 and on various radio outlets. Coming up in less than 10 minutes, I'll have the review for you of the Wonder Woman movie. I went and saw Wonder Woman with a bunch of men. And we will review the movie for you coming up in a moment. Meanwhile, Paris Climate Accord, the United States pulls out, led by President Trump. And in the announcement of all of this, President Trump mentioned Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh gets the shout out with President Trump, and a lot of people said it was their favorite part of the speech. That when President Trump mentioned Pittsburgh, that was their favorite part. Here is what he had to say about Pittsburgh.
I was elected to represent the citizens of Pittsburgh, not Paris.
So the first thing I wondered was, what does Pittsburgh think? Are they excited? Because I'd be very excited if he mentioned like Loxley, Chumuckla. I was elected to be president of Chumuckla, not Paris. Pittsburgh, the mayor of Pittsburgh, Mayor Peduto of Pittsburgh, is mad.
The two things that were really amazing about using Pittsburgh, number one is a complete lack of history of how we have already done what the Paris Agreement calls for, and we're able to rebuild our economy and rebuild our city by understanding the importance of being a part of where the future trends are going. The second part of it is he didn't come anywhere close to winning Pittsburgh.
Okay. Now, he won, President Trump won everything around Pittsburgh, but not actually the city. And so the people in Pittsburgh, many of them are irritated. They're irritated that he mentioned them. And you just heard the mayor of Pittsburgh. In fact, the mayor of Pittsburgh, when he ran for re-election not too long ago, he aired a TV commercial that attacked Donald Trump. And even attacked Donald Trump for being a New England Patriots fan. So Donald Trump angering some other countries and also Pittsburgh by name-dropping Pittsburgh. Maybe this might be an opportunity for other mayors to get word to the White House that they want to be mentioned, that they're willing to be mentioned. I don't know about Pensacola. I know that Mobile would love to be mentioned, that he's president of Mobile. Maybe not all of Mobile, but a significant part of Mobile and Mobile County. I'm sure Chumuckla would probably enjoy it. Stockton. But anyway, Pittsburgh, not happy. Not happy to be mentioned by President Trump. And you just heard the mayor of Pittsburgh say that they're trying to see, the Paris Climate Accords are allegedly voluntary. So I guess that means that anybody in the country that's upset that we're out can do their best to voluntarily participate, whatever that might mean. More show to come. In the next segment of the show, a review of Wonder Woman. A bunch of men went with me to see Wonder Woman, and we offer our review next.
The Glenn Beck program introduces introduces a new eve.
The eve of global war.
Celebrate with your family and friends. Today at 5, News Radio 710, WNTM.
I'm Uncle Henry, a customer of Heads Heating and Air Conditioning. I've used them for maintenance and for when my old system went out on me. Last year, I asked them to turn to the experts, Carrier, and replace my old natural gas furnace with a Carrier 95% high-efficiency unit. And so I had a cozy, warm home last winter with lower heating bills. And I'm looking forward to a cool home this summer with that new system. Carrier, high-efficiency natural gas, and Heads Heating and Air Conditioning make a great team. Did you know they've got financing available at 0% interest for up to 60 months? You can't beat 0% on a new system. What a great combo. Carrier, natural gas, Heads Heating and Air Conditioning, and financing at 0% interest for up to 60 months. So turn to the experts, Carrier, and call Heads Heating and Air Conditioning. The number is 251-653-7873. 251-653-7873. See if you qualify for that great deal on 0% interest.
Heads Heating and Air Conditioning, where 3 heads are better than 1.
Finding great candidates to hire can be, well, like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is different. It doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. With its powerful technology, ZipRecruiter distributes your job everywhere it needs to be to find the right candidates. In fact, over 80% of jobs on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just one day. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
Used by businesses of all sizes, ZipRecruiter offers the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer. That's ZipRecruiter.
Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show on the CW55. We're in a radio break. The radio listener is hearing a bunch of stuff. And we'll get back to radio in just a few minutes. Right now, it's me and you and the video producer of the program, Ariel. Ariel, please join me here briefly. Ariel is going to be live on location today. You can go out and meet Ariel today. You can meet Ariel at Metro PCS on Pleasant Valley Road. Now, are you going to be giving anything away, any kind of giveaway?
You know what? That's a really good question that I have zero answer to yet. I think that we were supposed to be trying to set one up, but I don't know if it ever happened.
Okay. Well, then there's an element of surprise.
Right?
There's
For all of us.
Element of surprise when you go to meet Ariel.
Mm-hmm. You might get something, you're probably not.
Well, people get the enjoyment of knowing you.
Okay, we can go with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm good with going with that.
Now, what about weekend plans, Ariel? Anything? Are you going to go to another stripping class or anything like that?
There is actually one that happens at 11 on Saturdays, but tomorrow is reserved for my kid. I'm going to take him to Cottage Hill Park. You know, they reopened with newly renovated play equipment, so I'm going to take him to the park tomorrow.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so you'll be going to the park.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the weekend open?
Just going to wing it.
Okay.
In fact, after I leave the park tomorrow, the rest of the day we're going to wing it. We'll probably end up with the Play-Doh again.
Okay. Let me suggest the flea market. A lot of fun out there.
Let me answer with no.
Okay.
It's not going to happen.
I'll tell you what I find.
Okay.
I'll tell you what I find. So, Ariel, today, you can meet her today from noon to 2 at Metro PCS on Pleasant Valley Road in Mobile. Ariel, I hope you have a wonderful time there.
Well, what's the worst that could happen?
Well, we don't want to go there.
No, we don't.
We don't want to go there. Thank you, Ariel. We'll be coming up in about 10 minutes. We will have Ariel show us some of the video from the pole dancing fitness class that she took. So that's coming up in about 10 minutes for the TV viewer. The radio, the poor, pitiful people that are only listening on radio, they don't get that wonderful expansion of their world. They're limited. All right, we're about to go back to radio with the review of Wonder Woman. Stand by.
Storm will find you, and we've got basically the same forecast on tap for tomorrow and Sunday. Daytime highs each day in the mid-80s. I'm meteorologist John Nodar with the News 5 First Alert Storm Team.
Your home for traffic and weather on the 9s every morning. This is News Radio 710 WNTM.
Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show or watching it. This is the Uncle Henry Show review of Wonder Woman. The review recorded immediately after seeing Wonder Woman in the parking lot of the Mobile Theater. Here with Angelo of Mobile Bay Coins, Scotty White of ScottyWhite.com, musician Joe Shanover is here, Roger Bird, art instructor, that's correct. Norman is here. He does not have a website, but his nephew has BrentTunes.com. I'll start the review by saying that this was a fantastic film. It had everything I've ever wanted in a movie. Punching, stabbing, arrows, shootings, explosions. People were shooting and stabbing, flipping around in midair. It was everything you want in a movie. Almost no cuss words at all that I could detect. Only one fleeting glimpse of a body without clothes on it, but it was done in a very tasteful manner. Even when there was kissing, there was in shadows, so you didn't actually see lip on lip. It was magnificent. I want to see Wonder Woman fight the Germans again. Norman, your thoughts?
Yeah, she was fighting Germans. You know, I thought that initially Wonder Woman was like World War II, but they put her here in World War I, but it was good because there was a lot of fist fighting, like you say, a lot of explosions, you know, a lot of golden lasso and a lot of Amazons.
Angelo, your thoughts?
I was rather impressed. I like the fact that it's set in World War I. I liked the visuals, the special effects. I thought it was dragging a little bit in the middle, but then it picked up and it ended.
Dragging?
It was dragging a little bit there in the middle.
Wonder Woman versus the German army was in the middle of the movie.
I understand that, but like I said, I thought it was dragging a little bit, but she picked it up and pulled it off, and it was a good wrap at the end.
Joe, you're a musician. What does a musician think?
I loved all the time travel, and of course I was
Time travel?
I was super pleased, too, that Mr. Scott was able to beam his captain back aboard.
All right, you didn't see the same movie. Scotty White of ScottyWhite.com.
I liked Wonder Woman fighting the German army in the middle of the film. That's pretty much about it, all I liked about it.
Oh, whoa! Whoa! What was your problem with Wonder Woman?
It's just dull. Meh.
How?
Lots of it.
People were in the air shooting arrows at each other.
In terrible CGI with backgrounds that weren't complete.
That wasn't terrible.
Oh, it was atrocious. Warner Brothers knows better. They have more money than this.
Roger, is he just being a contrarian?
I don't know. They call her Wonder Woman. There's no wonder she's Wonder Woman. To me, it was amazing. I loved it.
Thank you.
I had an uncle who was at Normandy. I just loved that. That's, incredible storyline. So it was just great. I think.
Okay, Normandy, different war, but still a war with Germans. Norman, can you believe Scotty White's making this up? He wants to be contrary.
I guess so, but I could understand some of it, and there's some inconsistencies, but the sound was good in the theater. I liked the way the sound effects were good. It wasn't too distorted and too overpowering. It was good and loud, and you could understand everything they said. And there wasn't a whole lot of crying babies and no garbage, nobody kicking my seat.
Are you okay, though? You're kind of sweaty.
It was hot in that theater. They didn't have no air conditioner or something. I don't know what the deal is. I guess it's summertime, and they couldn't afford good sound and air conditioning.
Uncle Henry, I think he started sweating when Wonder Woman popped out in that skimpy little outfit, the grown-up Wonder Woman. That's when the sweat started pouring off of him. I'm just saying.
There wasn't that much skimp either. That's what I loved about this movie.
For the era. For that era.
For the era, but look, Scotty White, please drop the pretense and join us in the reality of the greatness. This is the best. This is better than the Avengers, better than Spider-Man, better than Iron Man. In fact, I'd love to see her marry Captain America. That would be an outstanding film.
Well, I understand why you and Norman like it, because you remember, you reminded back when you were in the front in those trenches. I understood.
Come on.
I
Be
totally
serious.
understand. I mean, I was going to ask you how it was when she did save your butts from the Germans, but I know it's a little hard for you.
All right,
to
all right,
I don't want you to get upset.
All right, well,
you
I
have
am.
tears in your eyes. I sat right by you.
Look, it was so good. I just couldn't believe I was seeing people getting shot with the arrows and the punching and no cussing. No cussing was. One last thing before we run out of time. Little girls. Could you take little girls to this, Norman, without... Is it too violent for the little children with all the stabbings?
The video games little girls play today are more violent than that, so I guess they're going to call this a positive role model.
All right, well, my final verdict is every star you can give it, my highest recommendation of all time.
I give it a 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5.
Wonder Woman is a 10 for sure.
2 lassos.
4.
Excellent, excellent movie. All right, that is the review of Wonder Woman recorded. That was the immediate reaction right after seeing the film. Now that I've had time to sleep on it, I would like to give it an even higher rating if possible. I don't know how I could, but there's just something satisfying about. No offense to the Germans. If you're German, and I do have German ancestry. No offense to the Germans, but there's something very satisfying about seeing Germans dressed in their German war uniforms getting whipped, getting beat up. Now, again, no offense to the Germans. I know that modern-day Germans are very sensitive about this, but it was very satisfying to see Wonder Woman beat Germans up. It really was. I could watch it over and over and over again. And it has nothing to do with the astonishing beauty of Wonder Woman. All right, there's more to come. We'll get back into news items. The world is in hysteria over pulling out of the Paris Climate Accords. We'll get into that and more, and also local news that we'll get into as we continue on the Uncle Henry Show.
Your morning espresso starts right here. It's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
So the president's decision today to pull the plug on Obama's decision to sign into this Paris climate hoax accord couldn't have come a moment too soon. You know, the next step on that agenda is a $4 trillion with a T $trillion global warming tax. Now, that would torpedo America's economy and everyone else's economy. Investors Business Daily pointed out that a new report by 13 economists that was on all global warming true believers called for this $4 trillion global carbon tax to avoid dangerous climate change. As Britain's Independent reported, there's no evidence that a carbon tax of that magnitude would do anything other than crush the world economy, making billions of people poor.
The Sean Hannity Show from coast to coast later today.
I had to see it for myself. Upside.com really saves you a ton of money on business travel, and they give you a big gift card every single time you travel. I went on a trip recently, used Upside.com. In less than 2 minutes, I was able to save money, and I got a gift card for $200. Now go to Upside.com, use the promo code Hannity, and you get $100 guaranteed an Amazon gift card just for your first trip. You'll save big on travel, get a big gift card every single trip. Upside.com.
Minimum purchase required. See site for complete details.
Finding great people to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's time to try ZipRecruiter, where 80% of jobs get a qualified candidate in just one day. How? Using powerful technology, ZipRecruiter matches your job to the right candidates fast. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com.
710 Time Saver Traffic.
We're back here on the Uncle Henry Show on the CW55. Thank you to the CW55 for allowing the Uncle Henry Show on broadcast television in this experiment. We've enjoyed the practice very much. All right, we're gonna quickly, before we go any further and look at the special video, we're going to listen to the weather.
Tomorrow.
First Alert Weather from WKRG News 5 and the Chemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist John Nodar with the News 5 First Alert Storm Team. A few foggy spots and a few showers around the area this morning. but most folks with an easy commute, dry streets, light winds, and good visibility. We'll see clouds and the possibility of showers again today and tomorrow and Sunday, with a 60% chance of rain each day and highs in the mid-80s.
This report is brought to you by State.
Okay. All right. Very good. If you like, it's been wonderful. If you love moisture, what a great week it's been. In fact, last night, the humidity, if you could teach yourself to love humidity, what a great night you would have had last night. It was just, it was so wonderfully thick. Now, Ariel, please join me so that you can narrate what we're going to see here. For the people that weren't watching yesterday, explain again, you went to a special stripper exercise class?
There were no strippers. In fact, there were no stripper moves involved. It was called pole fitness.
Pole fitness.
Pole fitness, yes. And it does involve a pole that traditionally strippers do use, but it does require your entire body to accomplish this workout. Like there's no nastiness involved in it. Everybody's clothes stay on.
Okay. Now, are you going to be able to show the TV viewer some of the video you took?
Absolutely. In fact, there's a guy who was in the class with us.
Okay. Well, then go ahead and show. Now, do we need audio with it, or do you want to explain it?
Not necessarily. But it's
okay.
kind of short.
We'll show the video, and you can tell us what we're seeing.
Okay, now this guy actually does this kind of stuff. Do you see that?
Whoa!
Yes.
That's like in Wonder Woman.
That's like in Wonder Woman. And now this is the owner of the salon. She's teaching right here. And she's just kind of showing how to do this vertical spin that they have going on. And this is one of her students. I can't remember what her name is.
My goodness gracious.
But yes, it's more like acrobatics than it actually is stripping. See? Do you see how much body strength that's going to take?
Yes.
No nastiness. Everybody.
Did you, where did Ariel go? Ariel,
Sorry.
There you are.
I had to fade back in.
Did you have to sign a release form
No.
before you did? Well,
But you probably should.
Look, I mean, I'm seeing people hanging upside down,
Yes.
and if you slip as a beginner, you might break your neck.
Well, that's why you're not allowed to do that stuff in the beginning. Like, there is this serious conditioning that goes into being able to do that. Like, you have to, I think you have to have 5 beginner classes before you can move to the intermediate.
Okay.
And the beginner classes are pretty much building your upper body strength and building your core strength, because you cannot hang upside down the way they were or hang sideways the way they were without any of that involved.
Would it be too much trouble for you to show us that guy again that was holding his body out like that?
Yeah, let's see if I can get back to it. Hold on.
That was really something. The amount of physical. Let's see. There's a.
By the way, that is Ariel.
Okay, all right. Let's look at this guy.
Look at this guy.
My goodness
This
gracious.
is a pole fitness class.
Wow. Okay, I'm impressed.
See,
I don't
no nastiness.
I don't think. I think it's been like 50 years since I've been able to do a pull-up. So
that is involved in the beginner's class. Like, you have to be able to pull your entire body up.
that was something to see a guy do something like that.
Just hanging to the side. And they were doing these moves, effortlessly and like spinning around while hanging to the side. It was crazy. Defying gravity.
You said that people had to wear special stripper gloves or stripper paste on their hands to use the pole.
They were using and it almost looks like a glue stick, but they were putting this stuff on their hands in order to grip the pole. And that you could use either the glue stick looking thing or a wax or a spray that was an actual adhesive.
What does that guy do for a living?
The guy who turns to the side?
Yeah.
You know what? To be honest, I don't know. I think he teaches one of their barre classes. I think is how it's pronounced.
If I were him, I would have a picture of myself doing what he was doing there on a business card, so that everybody could see. Yes, this is what I can do. That would be my calling card.
Training the owner of the salon for a bodybuilder competition. That's the guy I would want to train me for a bodybuilding competition.
Yes, he shows you that he knows what he's doing.
Clearly.
All right, well, Ariel, thank you. That was
You're welcome.
That was very different from what I'd anticipated. It wasn't as nasty as I thought it would be. and looked way beyond anything. I don't know anybody fit enough to do any of that. All right, stand by. We're about to go back to radio and get back into reality.
Than ever. Help build it.
Visit Habitat.org.
Traffic updates every 10 minutes on the 9s every morning. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
The Uncle Henry Show proceeds. One of my theories, one of my predictions through the years has been that one day that we would all work for Walmart. I won't go into all the details on that because I've talked about it a lot on the air, but Walmart keeps growing and adding things that it does, and I can see eventually them getting into housing. And one day you would work and live at Walmart. It would be like its own entity, like its own government. But then Amazon came up, and Amazon started to expand, and now I'm amending my theory. And the theory is that one day we will all work for Walmart or Amazon. And I bring that up because we had the news yesterday that Amazon, we've all heard that Mobile County is getting a Walmart distribution center that's going to be tremendous, large, lots of jobs, lots of truck traffic. Now we get word that Amazon is coming to Mobile County, and they're going to have their own facility in Mobile County, and it's going to employ a bunch of people. I don't know how many people. Let's see, anywhere between 100 and 300 employees, according to WKRG. So Amazon's coming in. Walmart and Amazon. So one day, maybe your grandchildren or great-grandchildren will live in a world where they have to pick either Walmart or Amazon to work for. And that's that. And this is a word, I've never heard this word before. The facility that Amazon is going to build in Mobile County is called a sortation center. Sortation. I've never heard the word sortation. I'm going to assume that that's where they sortate. If you have a sortation center, there's sortating going on. I've never heard of sortating either. But that's what it is. Sortation center. Well, it's just, I know we've had some rough going. I don't know what it's been like for you in Chumuckla, Florida, the Wallace community that are listening, but in Mobile County, Baldwin County, there were many decades where we did not have the kind of jobs that we wished we had. And it's just great to see all these things popping up in the last few years that provide jobs. The aerospace industry, Baldwin County gets its giant amusement park, and we've got Walmart and Amazon. Fantastic. And plus the expansions of Dollar Generals. So if you can't get hired by the Walmart distribution center, Amazon is going to have their own sortation center. I wonder if I'm qualified to sortate something. More in a moment on the Uncle Henry Show.
Time saver traffic from the Dean McCrary Mazda Traffic Center.
Roadways are a little bit wet for some of you this morning, and there is spotty rain that's been moving up from the Gulf, primarily in the eastern part of our region, a little north of Pensacola in the Cantonment area, continuing over to Crestview. The Destin area seen some rain as well, so just be aware of that. No big accidents or breakdowns on the board right now if you're making the trip on I-10 across the Bayway through the Wallace Tunnel. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by the T.J. Martell Foundation. Hey everybody, I'm Eric Church, asking you to join me in the fight against leukemia, cancer, and AIDS through the T.J. Martell Foundation. Your support helps facilitate cutting-edge research that will lead to more effective treatments and save more lives. Visit tjmartell.org to learn about music's promise for a cure.
First Alert Weather from WKRG News 5 and the Southern Cancer Center Weather Center.
Clouds, rain, and humidity linger. I'm meteorologist John Nodar with the News 5 First Alert Storm Team. Yes, the wet weather pattern continues today, tomorrow, and Sunday as well, with 60% rain chances each day, highs in the mid-80s and lows near 70. There is light at the end of the tunnel. By the middle of next week, some drier and slightly cooler air moves in.
Information is power. News Radio 710 WNTM. News? Check. Traffic and weather? Check. Opinions? Check. This is the Uncle Henry Show, only on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Hey, Uncle Henry, how you doing? Well, I'd like to tell all you listeners out there that there's people listening to you listening. Yeah, that's right. Did you get that?
Message deleted. Press.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show or watching it. Yesterday, I received an email from the state auditor of Alabama, Jim Ziegler, who might run for governor. If you recall, he hasn't said he's going to run for governor, but he wrote a fictional account of him running for governor. So maybe that means he's running. I don't know if that means he is running but he's written a fictional account of him running for governor. Now, he sent an email to me yesterday and other people in media that I believe is not fictional. I believe it's nonfiction. Let me go to the Jim Ziegler email. Subject line on the email is Ziegler to become field auditor to keep office operating. The email reads as follows. In addition to his normal duties as state auditor, Jim Ziegler said he will train to also work as a field auditor, doing the actual property inventory of state agencies. The unusual move is necessary because Ziegler's budget has been cut 28.5% since January 2015 when he took office. He called the move an emergency measure to keep the state auditor's office operating following 3 years of budget cuts. Ziegler said his office budget is $368,400 below the minimum needed to audit the state's $1.9 billion worth of state property items. And this goes on and on and on. He points out that his office has dropped from 11 full-time and 1 part-time jobs to 6 full-time and 2 part-time employees, dropped from 5 field auditors to 2 full-time and 1 part-time to audit the entire state. So he is going out into the field. And then he lists some of the cuts that he has had implemented in his office. It says here he's discontinued the cell phone contract for his auditors, cut their office supply budget, et cetera, et cetera. So Jim Ziegler out in the field, auditing out in the field. Now, while he's out in the field, if he happens to coincidentally, when he's off the clock, do a little campaigning for governor, I'm sure that that's probably not even something that's crossed his mind. And maybe I shouldn't have brought it up. But he's going out into the field. So Jim Ziegler out in the field. This means there may be a likelihood that you'll find him. If you visit a state office, you might see him out auditing something. So thank you, Jim Ziegler, for sending email to the Uncle Henry Show to keep us abreast of your movements in the state of Alabama. I still have not read the book. I promise I will look at his book. The governor's race isn't until 2018, so I do have some time left to read the book. More show to come, Uncle Henry Show.
You've heard the news.
It's a new generation of missiles.
You know the story.
All options are on the table.
Now it's time to share your opinion.
We have a very serious issue in the world right now called North Korea.
News Radio 710, WNTM.
Watch out for people riding bikes. It's not just courteous. Now it's the law. The new 3 Feet for Safety Act requires that drivers give at least 3 feet of space when passing bicyclists. More and more people are commuting and touring Alabama on bicycles. As the number of cyclists on our roads increases, so does the need for safe driving. So slow down and give cyclists 3 feet of room. Follow the rules of the road and watch out for each other. Learn more at drivesafealabama.org. Sponsored by ALDOT, the Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
I'm Uncle Henry, a customer of Heads Heating and Air Conditioning. I've used them for maintenance and for when my old system went out on me. Last year, I asked them to turn to the experts, Carrier, and replace my old natural gas furnace with a Carrier 95% high-efficiency unit. And so I had a cozy, warm home last winter with lower heating bills. And I'm looking forward to a cool home this summer with that new system. Carrier, high-efficiency natural gas, and Heads Heating and Air Conditioning make a great team. Did you know they've got financing available at 0% interest for up to 60 months? You can't beat 0% on a new system. What a great combo. Carrier, natural gas, Heads Heating and Air Conditioning, and financing at 0% interest for up to 60 months. So turn to the experts, Carrier, and call Heads Heating and Air Conditioning. The number is 251-653-7873. 251-653-7873. See if you qualify for that great deal on 0% interest.
It's heating and air conditioning, where 3 heads are better than 1.
Hey, this is Uncle Henry. I want to tell you about RVs Unlimited in Robertsdale. This is where you go to get a new RV, pre-owned RV, or to get your RV serviced. Jeremy Strickler, one of the owners of RVs Unlimited, explains that customer service is their top priority.
We look at our customers as we're here to serve them.
Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show on the CW55. Dare to Defy is the mission statement of the CW55. We're in a radio break. The radio listener is hearing a bunch of stuff, and we'll get back to radio in a moment. Right now it's me and you and Ariel, the video producer of the show. Ariel, please join me here. We have a very important matter to discuss before we go back on the radio. I saw that Oreos are back in the news.
Really?
The new flavor, they have a new limited edition flavor. Since they've come out with every kind of flavor known to man,
of course,
and woman, the new limited edition flavor coming out in stores is Jelly Donut Oreo.
Oh, that sounds good.
It is one of the, it's like, instead of being chocolate cookie parts, it's going to be like the vanilla cookie parts with a jelly flavored center. Jelly Donut Oreos.
Did you know Oreos are vegan? Which
No.
means I can now have jelly donut Oreos.
Well, that's a big plus for Oreo, I suppose.
Right?
I also saw in the news earlier this week, yes, this is new. This is considered news. This is that there's a new Oreo flavor. This is considered news. I saw on our local news, one of our channels locally did a story on how Oreos are going to reissue their Oreo breakfast cereal.
I don't know if anybody needs that. I can't see that, like Oreo breakfast cereal. I won't buy that. Jelly donut Oreos, I'm buying that.
Mm-hmm.
I think, is Oreo like suffering or something? Like they are
Well,
doing any and everything.
Ariel, that's the reason that I'm interested in this, because now I would love to eat a big bag of Jelly Donut Oreos.
Yeah.
But I think I was born not to be able to do that, because if I eat it, then I become gigantic like Boss Hogg.
Right.
So, but the reason I'm interested in this is because I thought Oreos didn't need gimmicks. That they were an iconic cookie that will survive the test of time, and that you don't need a gimmick to get people to buy it.
In fact, I think every holiday they've had this special edition Oreo cookie. Like
Right.
there was the mint chocolate chip for Christmas, and you had
Halloween,
the
they're
Peeps,
orange.
The orange, the Peeps Oreo for Easter, which were terrible, by the way. They taste like earwax. Just don't invest in those next year, okay?
Okay.
And now you got the fireworks. They have like the pop rocks inside of them, so they explode in your mouth for 4th of July. And now jelly donuts. And today is National Donut Day.
Okay. Unnecessary.
Yeah.
I mean, all you've got to do is show me video of somebody dunking it in milk.
They do. Shaquille O'Neal, Christina Aguilera. Like, they are getting celebrity endorsers like they're suffering.
Okay. Ariel, you and I agree on this. Oreo doesn't need to panic. All right, here we go back on radio. Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show. What a wonderful day it is. If you love humidity, this is like you probably are just beside yourself if you enjoy the humidity. Yesterday, I don't know if you noticed this or not, President Trump made a brief speech where he said we were pulling out of the Paris Climate Accord. And people got really mad. Now other countries, their leaders were mad. A bunch of people in the United States were mad. I looked on Facebook, and I don't mean to irritate those that are mad, but I found it slightly amusing that there were people on Facebook that were saying this is it. This is after all the different things they could have been mad at, this is the thing that really this is it now. Final straw. They've already reached their final straw. And how many months has he been president? 3, 4? The camel's back needs to get stronger to handle the straws that are to come in the next several years if you're really sensitive about all this stuff. You need to get that camel's back reinforced. So reaction, and I got to thinking more deeply about this than I'd ever really wanted to, because the word voluntary kept getting thrown around. Now, we allegedly were voluntarily in. How voluntary is it that if you pull out of it, people just, oh my goodness, they lose their mind. Angry, upset, crying, hurt. How voluntary I'm serious, how voluntary is that really? It's kind of like going to Aunt Flossie's birthday party. Your family invites you to Aunt Flossie's turning 82, and we're having a birthday party, and it's voluntary to go to the party. But if you don't show up to the voluntary Aunt Flossie 82nd birthday party, you're going to be hearing about it. Oh my goodness. You may never be forgiven by some of the other relatives. How voluntary is this really? After looking at a lot of it, it seemed to be just so much symbolic. Everything seemed to be symbolic. I mean, it's not even a real treaty. Now, I'm not a constitutional expert due to my lack of intelligence, but I think that a real treaty, doesn't that go before the Senate? Don't we all kind of have a say in that our senators get involved, that we do have representatives that weigh in on a treaty? So this is not really any kind of official anything other than a little promise. And I know promises are important. You want to be able to keep your word, et cetera, et cetera. But this allegedly voluntary doesn't seem very voluntary to me. If people are so upset that you're not going to Aunt Flossie's birthday party. Now, I noticed that the favorite thing in the speech for a lot of people was President Trump mentioning Pittsburgh, where a lot of people on television said it was the best line of the whole speech.
I was elected to represent the citizens of Pittsburgh, not Paris.
Okay. Now, of course, the mayor of Pittsburgh does not like Donald Trump. The mayor of Pittsburgh ran to be mayor of Pittsburgh with a campaign commercial that was an anti-Donald Trump campaign commercial. Pittsburgh didn't go for Donald Trump in the election. Now, everything around Pittsburgh did, but not Pittsburgh itself. Here's the mayor of Pittsburgh upset that Donald Trump mentioned Pittsburgh.
The two things that were really amazing about using Pittsburgh, number one is a complete lack of history of how we have already done what the Paris Agreement calls for, and we're able to rebuild our economy and rebuild our city by understanding the importance of being a part of where the future trends are going. The second part of it is he didn't come anywhere close to winning Pittsburgh.
Right, he didn't win Pittsburgh, but he got everything around Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh not happy to be mentioned. A lot of people say it's the best line in the speech. Now, Pittsburgh doesn't want to be mentioned. There are a lot of cities probably that would like the attention. I'm thinking locally, there are probably a lot of communities that could use a boost. Bay Minette. I think President Trump probably carried Bay Minette. I don't know that for sure, but I'm going to guess that he did really good in Bay Minette, Alabama. So next time, maybe the president should say, I was elected to be president of Bay Minette and not of Paris. Bay Minette would love it. They might even put it on a sign coming into the city. So maybe get word to the White House. In fact, there's probably a lot of cities around here that could use the attention. So over the weekend, if people are so mad that if there's anything else controversial that President Trump intended to do over the next several weeks, he ought to do it all now today. Just so get it all out of the way. Any controversial stuff, just do it today while this is going on, and just be done with it all. There is more to come. Uncle Henry Show continues. Numerous more hours of show next.
From Metallica here.
This is Lars.
It's iHeartRadio.
Hi, this is Angus Young from AC/DC on iHeartRadio.
Open up the free iHeartRadio app right now and type in your favorite artist name to make a custom station based on all their biggest hits. Free!
Hey, this is Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top.
This is Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones.
All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Download our free iHeartRadio app or listen online at iHeartRadio.com.
At Mercedes-Benz Mobile, servicing the customer always comes first. If your Mercedes is in need of repair or general maintenance, come see us at our state-of-the-art service center on Dolphin Street. Our highly certified auto technicians are equipped with the latest tools and technologies to take care of your Mercedes or any other luxury vehicle, including Lexus, BMW, Audi, and Jaguar. Give your car a little TLC and visit our service center at 3060 Dolphin Street today. Mercedes-Benz Mobile, doing our part to keep you moving forward.
Have you been to our house yet? Visit the iHeartRadio Virtual House presented by Bugmaster. There's thousands of dollars in home improvement prices just waiting for you. Gift cards, furniture, lawn equipment, and more. Head to our station's website right now and type in keyword house. Click on any room in the house to sign up and win. The iHeartRadio Virtual House, presented by Bugmaster, Ridgetex Fabrics, and Home Mortgage of America. Visit our station's website, keyword house.
The Sad family's tradition of caring started with John and Dorothy Sad more than 3 decades ago. The Sad Healthcare family has grown to more than 400 employees, but we're still the same local people you've known for years, offering in-home nursing services, hospice care, rehabilitation therapies, and medical supplies and equipment. Our goal has never changed, offering home healthcare services with integrity, professionalism, and above all, compassionate care. Stop by any of our Gulf Coast locations and you'll see Sad Healthcare's family tradition of caring.
Your severe weather station. This is News Radio 710 WNTM Mobile, an iHeart radio station. 99.9 WMXC HD3 Mobile.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show here on the CW55. Dare to defy, dare to live your life is the mission statement of the CW55. We're in a radio break. Radio listeners hearing traffic, weather, news, all that kind of stuff. We'll be back on the radio in just a few minutes. Right now, it's me and you and Ariel. Before we go any further, let's listen to the weather so we can chart our weekend.
Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
First alert weather from WKRG News 5 and the Southern Cancer Center Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist John Nodar with the News 5 First Alert Storm Team. A few foggy spots and a few showers around the area this morning, but most folks with an easy commute, dry streets, light winds, and good visibility. We'll see clouds and the possibility of showers again today and tomorrow and Sunday, with a 60% chance of rain each day and highs in the mid-80s.
Okay, thank you, John Nodar, for your well-enunciated weather forecast. I'm operating this morning on very little sleep, got about 3 hours of sleep. I was out last night watching the new Wonder Woman movie, which I give my highest personal recommendation to. It's good. If you're over 60, it's almost like they made it for people over the age of 60. What a pleasure. What a pleasure it was. Now, I've got an email about this. Let me go to the email inbox. I want to answer this email. Subject line on the email is good morning. Email reads, "Hey, Unc, good morning and roll tide. Didn't want the show to go too long without a roll tide. Looking forward to seeing Wonder Woman. Can I take the little P's? Today is going to be a great day." And that email from KP, father of little P children. Thank you for the roll tide. I appreciate that. Roll tide, roll. Now, can you take your little children, your little girls, to Wonder Woman? I thought about that myself. It all depends. There's a lot of violence because it's set in World War I, and Wonder Woman and her people use bows and arrows and swords, and the Germans use guns and bombs. So there's a lot of swords sticking into people and arrows being shot into people and bombs going off and bullets being shot. So you've got that. There's also a discussion of mythology. So you'll have to be clear on the differences between perhaps your religion and what is presented, because there's a mythology tale of creation that you'll need to sort out with some smaller children. There's no real nakedness or cuss words. There is one disturbing, there's a villainous person that has a prominent disfigurement that is briefly shown that may make some small children recoil. So I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. I have a feeling a lot of people are going to take their little girls because it's 2017 and they may have already seen this stuff on their television at home. Now, if you're over 60, though, if you're taking like your grandma's going to love it. Grandpa's going to love it. Take Grandma and Grandpa. They are going to have a blast at Wonder Woman. All right, let's see. And there's no nasty man, woman, you know what. In fact, when I don't want to spoil it, but things are kept in the shadows. All right, stand by. We're about to go back to radio. The radio listener needs something, and we're going to give them as little as possible. So stand by as we return to radio.
To post a sponsored job at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
From the Mercedes-Benz of Mobile Studios, this is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. You can still watch. We're still available for now on the CW55 on broadcast television. Good morning. Numerous things to get to this hour. Of course, people continue to be hysterically angry over President Trump pulling out of a voluntary deal, the Paris Climate Accord. I want to mention right here more great local economy news. We got word yesterday that Mobile County, Alabama, is getting an Amazon facility. Now, we're already getting a Walmart distribution center that's going to employ a lot of people. Now we're getting an Amazon facility. It's called a sortation facility. I've never heard that word, sortation. I'm going to assume that sortating goes on there. Sortation facility. Anywhere between 100 and 300 jobs at the sortation facility. So what a yet more good economic news for this part of the Gulf Coast. We have aerospace, amusement parks, Walmart distribution center. Dollar Generals keep getting built on all the different places in the rural parts of these counties. And now Amazon. Just great to hear that there are options for people in the employment arena out there. So, more wonderful news. I still need to find out what sort. Ariel, have you ever heard the word sortation? You haven't either? Good. Ariel's, now see, I'm not college educated. Ariel is college educated, and she's a writer. So if anybody should have heard that word, it should have been her. I'm going to guess it has something to do with sorting. That's just me hazarding a quick guess. One day, maybe for your grandchildren, one day we'll all work for Amazon or Walmart. That is my prediction, Amazon or Walmart. Unless one of those companies eats the other company. Now, Amazon allegedly is worth more than Walmart these days. We had stories about their stock prices being astronomical. Who knows? Maybe one day those companies will get married and have some other little companies together, and we'll all live happily ever after. All right, look, there's more to come, but isn't that good news? More jobs on the way. Other things to get to. We'll get into other stuff as we continue on the Uncle Henry Show. Please stick with the program.
Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
Well, we are looking at a new thunderstorm cell now that's moving up from the Gulf and coming to shore near Pensacola. So if that's part of your drive, you're going to get rather wet there, at least for the time being. No big accidents or breakdowns, though. It's been a very quiet start to the traffic morning on that front. If you're traveling I-10 across the Bayway or I-65 down to the I-10 interchange, life is good so far. Still early on this Friday morning. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life.
While many rose up with violence, he sat down for peace. Mahatma Gandhi reached out with the strength he cultivated within his soul. So, pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
First alert weather from WKRG News 5 and the Chemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
Clouds, rain, and humidity linger. I'm meteorologist John Nodar with the News 5 First Alert Storm Team. Yes, the wet weather pattern continues today, tomorrow, and Sunday as well, with 60% rain chances each day, highs in the mid-80s and lows near 70. There is light at the end of the tunnel. By the middle of next week, some drier and slightly cooler air moves in.
This report is brought to you by the T.J. Martell Foundation.
Hey everybody, I'm Eric Church, asking you to join me in the fight against leukemia, cancer, and AIDS through the T.J. Martell Foundation. Your support helps facilitate cutting-edge research that will lead to more effective treatments and save more lives. Visit tjmartell.org to learn about music's promise for a cure.
We love Nick Saban. Just wanted to get that out of the way. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Thank God. I had a nervous breakdown this morning. I think the correct word is anxiety attack, whatever you call it. And one of them things, you know, and when you can't handle it no more, you know.
Message deleted.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show or watching it. I was watching WKRG News yesterday, and they had a story about copperhead snakes in Crestview, Florida. The copperhead, the gist of the story, it got my attention. The reason that I'm mentioning it now, what got me about it is the people there are not supposed to have copperheads. The copperheads are not supposed to be in Crestview, Florida. And they're claiming that copperheads are now moving their habitat. They are changing their habitat. They are moving in to Crestview. They are moving in. So the copperheads are on the move. The story from WKRG, there's a police officer, a Crestview police officer. Somebody sees a copperhead, and they called the police on the snake. And the policeman shows up, and he's got his own special device that he's invented with PVC pipe and rubber cables to get the snake. He tells WKRG that he came up with this because police keep getting calls about snakes. And so he invented his own snake handling device. And then he relocated he grabbed it and took it to the woods and let it go. And he said, quote, "I kind of like snakes," end quote. Now, maybe I'm just a terrible person, but what's wrong? This is a venomous snake. What's wrong with just getting rid of this snake once and for all, having an execution? And I know that's terrible to talk about on a Friday morning. Maybe your little children, maybe you're forcing your little children to watch the show as a punishment. But what would be, it's venomous, and it's not supposed to be in Crestview. It's invading Crestview. What's wrong with getting rid of it? What good is it to put it back in the woods so that it can go into somebody else's yard? Now, the story on WKRG.com, it has what to do when you find a copperhead snake. Number one, snap a photo on your smartphone, geolocator on. Number 2, email it, and then they've got an email address to some Florida person. And then 3, call your local law enforcement. Do not mess with it and await further instruction. Now, this is different. Now, when I was coming up, you dealt with it yourself. You dealt with it yourself. Does this sound a little odd to you, Ariel, calling the police on a snake? Calling the police on a snake. I just come from a different time where you'd get all of your tools, lawn tools, machetes, and you would deal with this. I know that sounds very extreme, but why can't you do that with the Copperhead? If you're ready for a security system, call TSI Alarms and Audio. They offer short-term agreements and low monitoring rates. Call 251-662-0500 or visit online at thetsigroup.com.
The key to success? Keep it simple, especially when it comes to hiring. And nobody makes it easier than Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions. Manage your candidates from one dashboard. According to an independent study, 5 times more hires are made through Indeed than any other job site. New users claim your $50 credit to post a sponsored job at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
This is Uncle Henry. I'm here with Ed Ahrens of McNeil Ahrens Lambert Financial Group. McNeil Ahrens Lambert in business for over 90 years. Ed, why do you think MAL has been around so long in business?
Uncle Henry, it's important to us to do the right thing for our clients. And when you do the right thing for clients, it always works out long term. And we like to educate our people so that they can start smart and ultimately finish strong.
For over 90 years, the professionals at McNeil Ahrens Lambert Financial Group have been helping their clients with their personal estate and retirement planning. Give them a call at 666-5000. That's 666-5000. Or visit them online. The website is malfinancial.com. Again, the website malfinancial.com. Ed and Virginia are investment advisor representatives with AE Wealth Management. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, which is an SEC-registered investment advisor.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Eddie Garcia.
In Game 1 of the NBA Finals, the Warriors cruised past the Cavaliers 113-91. Kevin Durant had 38 points for Golden State. Steph Curry added 28 points. The Warriors are now 13-0 this.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show here on the CW55. Dare to Defy, Dare to Live Your Life is the mission statement of the CW55. We'll be back on the radio in just a few minutes. Right now, it's just me and you and Ariel together. Coming up at around 6:30, I'm going to ask Ariel to show you again some of the video from the stripper pole exercise class that she went to this week. Very impressive. It looks very difficult to do what the people are doing in that class. Ariel, please join me here. Let's tell the TV viewer where they can find you. Today, Ariel is going to be out in the community, and if you want to meet Ariel face-to-face and have discussions with her, you can. Now, Ariel, you're going to be at Metro PCS. What location?
On Pleasant Valley Road. I don't know how familiar everybody is. I think I don't know if it's still B&H. It's in that same shopping center. If you're familiar with the B&H that was on Hall's Mill, it might be a Piggly Wiggly now. Could be a Cash Saver.
Okay, all right. So
Yeah.
and those parts.
Yeah, those parts. It's right there in that shopping center on the back end.
Okay, so Ariel will be there from noon until 2.
Mm-hmm.
So you have your opportunity to meet Ariel. And then what else is coming up for the weekend?
For the weekend, since they have newly renovated play equipment at Cottage Hill Park, I'm going to take my son. He can finally go back to the park.
Great.
He has not been a very happy camper that he has not been able to go to the park and play on the equipment. So now that it's newly renovated and it looks like downtown Mobile, he can play on the equipment.
Okay, well, good. So you'll be out if the weather is not rainy.
That doesn't stop us.
Oh, it doesn't? Okay, well, good.
Yeah, it stops me. It doesn't stop him.
Okay. All right. Well, Ariel at Cottage Hill. Now that appearance, that's not an official appearance at Cottage Hill Park, but Metro PCS is an official appearance.
That is an official appearance
today
correct.
from noon to 2.
Correct.
When do you go back to the pole exercise class?
Monday at 6:00.
Okay. Is it going to be?
That's my actual official class.
Is it going to be once a week?
Twice a week.
Twice? Wow.
Mondays and Wednesdays.
So you're going to by when you're done with this, your arms, you're going to be able to tear phone books, even though people don't have phone books anymore. You would be able to tear an old-fashioned phone book in half.
Exactly. I'd be able to do that. Like right now, my arms are sore, like I lifted a bunch of weights and I didn't, and it's 2 days later.
Okay. All right. Well, coming up in about 10 minutes, Ariel's going to show us that video of the people. Thank you, Ariel, of the people that are at the class and what they can do. I'm very gratified that there was no stripping involved. All right, stand by.
Oh, it's Uncle Henry on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Email address, unclehenry@gmail.com. That's unclehenry@gmail.com. Telephone number 251-479-2723. 251-479-2723. How upset are you over the president pulling out of the Paris Climate Accord? Yesterday, there was a lot of discussion beforehand. They had tipped off that it was likely that President Trump was going to pull out of this deal. He had promised he would. And so there was a lot of discussion I saw on the news channels before he actually made his speech. A lot of discussion. People saying how bad it was, people from a lot of United States businesses. And yet, I believe the stock market did fantastic yesterday. Now, I'm no expert on that. I'm curious how that all works. Even though we had a bunch of businesses saying that it was bad, the stock market went up. And then this morning, one of our early business reports, we carry on the radio Bloomberg Business news updates almost every hour, and they were talking about stock futures are up. So the immediate reaction in the world of finance was not bad. Now, other countries are irritated. I've tried to think more deeply about this than I care to try and understand all of it. There was some of the Europeans saying that they were, instead of looking to us for leadership, that China would be a leader. That instead of us, that it would be China that they would look to. Now, is it just me, or is it odd that they would be looking for somebody outside of their country to lead them? A lot of this must have to do with critics of the deal have talked about it being redistribution of wealth. And with us pulling out, that must mean that somebody's not getting some money, because that's got to be one major factor here. If they're that bad, if they're that mad, somebody must not be getting money that they thought they were going to get. For people to say that China will be their leader instead, I find that all very odd. Plus, it's supposed to be voluntary, and I'm still trying to figure out what part of it is voluntary, because people are acting like it wasn't really voluntary. Let's talk to Tony. Tony, good morning.
Good morning, Uncle. Listen, I think it was, 25 years ago or so that everything was pointing toward another ice age coming. And if my math is right. And now here we are looking at, we're going to fry like bacon in a few years if we don't do something. I just hope I live to the next ice age, which will probably be in 25 years. What do you think?
Well, I remember all those stories. I think it was on the cover of Time magazine or something about a new ice age coming, and then it flipped around. All I know is you're probably making some people very angry this morning. You're a denier. You're a denier.
I could be, but I just hope I live till the next ice or next ice age, and I think we could measure our life cycles like that. From one ice age to the next. And, person lived 3 ice ages, and they had a great long life. So just my thoughts. I hope you have a nice weekend, okay?
Well, thank you. I certainly will. I'm going to do my best to get out to the flea market. I wonder if the flea market I wonder if the people at the flea market are worried that we've pulled out of the Paris Climate Accord. And you're saying, oh, Uncle Henry, don't be silly. There are a lot of people from other countries that are there at the flea market, the Mobile Flea Market. This is not a commercial for the Mobile Flea Market. This is just a statement of reality. There are lots of people from other countries that are at the flea market. I hear a variety of languages when I go to the flea market. People from south of the border, people from Asian countries, just a wide variety of people there at the flea market with their various items. And I wonder if they are worried that we've pulled out of the Paris climate. I'm going to ask when I'm out there looking at the various junk, I'm going to be asking, are you worried about, I wonder if I can get them to go on record and actually let me record some of those interviews. The last time I was out there, I took a picture. Somebody was selling something, and I wanted to show a friend of mine, and I took a picture of what they were selling, and the man ran up and said, do you mind if I ask you why? Why are you taking that picture? So there was he was very sensitive. So I don't know if they'll actually go on record if I record them. But I'll let you know Monday what I find out. What does the flea market stand on the pulling out of the Paris Climate Accord? There's more to come. Stick with the show, please.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stock index futures are higher ahead of the jobs report for the month of May, due an hour before Wall Street's opening bell. Economists surveyed by Bloomberg are estimating a payroll increase of 182,000, with the jobless rate staying at 4.4%. U.S. stocks hit morning record highs yesterday amid better-than-estimated job market numbers. The Dow jumped 136 to 21,144. The S&P rose 18 or 0.8% to 2430. The Nasdaq added 48 and closed at 62.47. Crude oil is down almost 2.6% and just above $47 a barrel. Oil is headed for its biggest weekly drop in 4 weeks as crude production in the U.S. expands to the highest level since August 2015. That's countering a slide in stockpiles. Overseas, European markets are higher. Asian stocks gained ground today. The Nikkei topped 20,000 for the first time since December 2015. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
If you know the value of good machines, then it's high time we got together. We're Bailey Industrial, builders of metal and woodworking equipment, hard-working machines for hard-working people. We stand behind our equipment and make sure our equipment stands behind you, offering you the after-sale support you need to keep your shop running smoothly, which means making sure you have what you need when you need it, typically shipping within 72 hours or less. So whether you're a fabricator or manufacturer of metal or wood products, go to Bailey.com or call 920-MACHINE and we'll send you a catalog. That's right, friend, over 400 pages of what you love most, machines. So whatever you're looking to build or manufacture, do it with Bailey Industrial, the company you can trust to give you the equipment and service you can rely on. That's B-A-I-L-E-I-G-H, Bailey, because if it's worth doing right, it's only right to do it with Bailey. So call 920-MACHINE or go to Bailey.com now and pick up your free catalog.
710.
And we're back. We're back here on the CW55, the Uncle Henry Show on the CW55. We're in a radio break, an extended break. The radio listener needs actual information, and they're getting it during this break. In fact, let's listen to a little bit of it. I want to hear the weather to see what it will be like at the flea market this weekend. So stand by. Let's get the weather forecast from John Nodar.
First Alert Weather from WKRG News 5 and the Chemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist John Nodar with the News 5 First Alert Storm Team. A few foggy spots and a few showers around the area this morning, but most folks with an easy commute, dry streets, light winds, and good visibility. We'll see clouds and the possibility of showers again today and tomorrow and Sunday, with a 60% chance of rain each day and highs in the mid-80s.
Okay. So if you like humidity, if you like moisture, this is a golden era, a golden time for you in your life. Before we go back on radio, Ariel, please join me. Ariel told us yesterday that she went to a special stripper pole exercise class where people use a pole to get their exercise. And you brought some, by the way, if you want to find out more about this, Ariel wrote about it at thebeatofmobile.com. You can read all about that at thebeatofmobile.com. Ariel, show us some of the video and narrate it. Tell us what we see.
Okay, so by the way, her name is Ariel, right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So this guy teaches one of the classes there.
Wow.
Can you see that? Like, this is the kind of stuff that they can do like a year in. That's the owner of Gemini Studios where I went to take the class. And she's showing this brand new, I think it's called like the butterfly or something like that. But these women are just upside down. She was teaching a move right here where the woman is like kind of coming around the pole in a circle, but with her whole body. Do you see that?
It looks like you've got to be very fit. Very fit.
Yes. In fact, since I'm taking the beginner classes, the classes involve you building your upper body strength and building your core strength, because without it, you cannot pull yourself up on those poles like that.
Yeah,
you cannot turn upside down on those poles like that.
It looks dangerous to be upside down. You're going to need like a helmet or some kind of a Nerf, thing. Seriously, you're going to need pillows and cushions at the bottom of the pole.
Yeah, and in fact, one of the in the beginner classes, they do put mats down around the poles just in case you fall. This is less like pole fitness and more like acrobatics.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
It looked like.
Yeah. And a lot of people get the wrong deal and they're thinking, they hear pole fitness and they think nasty strippers.
Right.
It's like,
Stripper
no.
pole.
No, this is more aerial acrobatics than, actual stripper moves.
Now, do they do it to music?
Yeah. Yeah.
What kind of music?
Well, that's where the sultry part comes in at, because there is some pretty nasty music that gets played, but can you really say that this is nasty when people are hanging sideways and upside down?
Well, it looks like you have to be very physically fit to do it.
Extremely physically fit. The woman who owns the studio, in fact, she's in fitness competitions all the time, and she's being trained by the guy who was hanging sideways.
Okay. Well, so what is your goal? Because you've signed up, you have joined, you're paying money to go. So your goal, you want to be able to do just like that lady. You want to be able to
hang upside down and spin around and all that extra stuff. It looks like it'll be a challenge, and I like a good challenge.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, hey, more power to you. That to be able to do that would be an amazing thing.
It would be, and it's an entire full body workout. So my classes start Monday. I'm excited.
Okay, I'm looking forward to hearing about that the next morning.
Yeah.
All right, Ariel. Thank you very much, Ariel, providing us a window on a world that many of us have never been in. I certainly am not going to attend the stripper pole classes. And I don't want to, if I fell off that thing, it would ruin the rest of my life. I don't think I would have time to recover from any type of injury that would happen from falling off that thing. All right, let's see. We're going to be back on radio in about a minute with more Uncle Henry Show. Speaking of Ariel, if you want to meet her, she's going to be at Metro PCS today on Pleasant Valley Road in Mobile from noon until 2. So noon to 2 today at Metro PCS on Pleasant Valley Road in Mobile. A chance for you to talk to Ariel, maybe about your own fitness program. All right, we're about to go back on radio here in 30 seconds. Remember that during the weekend, if you want to review any of the ridiculous things that happen on this show, you can find the video on YouTube. You can go to the Uncle Henry Show YouTube channel and find it there. Or you can go to the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page and find the video there. Stand by. We go back now to radio.
Get the gift card. It's called Test Drive 25 with Dean McCrary Kia.
Roll Tide. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show or watching it on the CW55. Coming up in about 15 minutes, Joe Gomez, NBC News Radio national correspondent, will talk to him about the withdrawal from the Paris Climate Agreement, and then perhaps we'll get into more developments in the Russia investigation. That's with Joe Gomez coming up in about 15 minutes on the Uncle Henry Show. During the lengthy informational break for the radio listener, we did receive email, so let me go into the Uncle Henry Show email inbox. Subject line on the email is Roll Tide Unc. Email reads, "Good morning, young man. What's happening? Looks like a great weekend to spend indoors doing nothing." And that email from 60-year-old Chris in West Loxley, who adds, "P.S. Have a good one and Roll Tide Roll." Chris, thank you. Even though your email doesn't really offer anything to the program of discussion substance, it does offer roll tides. And so that I appreciate tremendously. So thank you for the roll tides. Let me return your roll tides.
Roll Tide, roll!
What's happening? Just a Friday show. Weekend, do what you want to do. Weekend, when your working days are through, weekend is what is happening on the Uncle Henry Show. And I've got a question for you, Chris of Loxley. 60-year-old Chris lives in West Loxley. Now, yesterday, the President of the United States said that he was elected to be President of Pittsburgh, not the President of Paris. A great line to some people. The people of Pittsburgh not too happy about it. The mayor of Pittsburgh is upset that Pittsburgh was mentioned. So, Chris, what would Loxley say? Would Loxley like it if President Trump said, "I was elected to be president of Loxley, not president of Paris"? That's what I'm curious about. Would Loxley accept that and enjoy it? Or would they act like Pittsburgh and act irritated by it? Let me know. If you're still watching the show, I need someone from Loxley to weigh in on that. I'm thinking a lot of communities would probably enjoy being name dropped in a speech watched internationally. We could go down a long list of local cities that would love to be name dropped in a speech that was watched internationally. Pittsburgh, though, not happy. Although the mayor of Pittsburgh gets to respond nationally, so good publicity for him. More in a moment. The Uncle Henry Show continues. We have several, even though it seems like we've been on the air for 4 or 5 hours, we still have several more hours to go.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Dean McCrary Kia Traffic Center.
Today is the last day of school in Mobile County, and the kids got to be thinking it's about time. Their counterparts in Baldwin have been out for a week now. No big accidents or breakdowns on the board. A little rain moving through the Pensacola area. And we also have a quick reminder about the I-10 eastbound entrance ramp at Water Street. It was closed permanently yesterday. A new, bigger, wider, safer ramp has been constructed at Texas Street. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by the TJ Martell Foundation.
Hey everybody, I'm Eric Church, asking you to join me in the fight against leukemia, cancer, and AIDS through the TJ Martell Foundation. Your support helps facilitate cutting-edge research that will lead to more effective treatments and save more lives. Visit tjmartell.org to learn about music's promise for a cure.
First Alert Weather from WKRG News 5 and the Southern Cancer Center Weather Center.
Clouds, rain, and humidity linger. I'm meteorologist John Nodar with the News 5 First Alert Storm Team. Yes, the wet weather pattern continues today, tomorrow, and Sunday as well, with 60% rain chances each day, highs in the mid-80s and lows near 70. There is light at the end of the tunnel. By the middle of next week, some drier and slightly cooler air moves in.
This report is brought to you by the TJ Martell Foundation. Join the TJ Martell Foundation in the fight against leukemia, cancer, and AIDS. Your support helps facilitate cutting-edge research that will lead to more effective treatments and save more lives. Visit tjmartell.org to learn more.
Your home for traffic and weather on the 9s every morning. This is News Radio 710 WNTM.
Good morning, Uncle Henry. Here is your verse for today, Revelation 12:11, the King James Version. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. New International Version. They overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. They did not love their lives so much as to shrink from death. Revelation 12:11.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Coming up in about 10 minutes, Joe Gomez, NBC News Radio national correspondent. We'll talk to him about the reaction to the Paris climate situation, plus any new developments in the Russia investigation. That's coming up here in about 10 minutes on the Uncle Henry Show. Email address, unclehenry@gmail.com. That's unclehenry@gmail.com. Ariel, will you join me here briefly on the radio? I want to talk to you briefly about Wonder Woman. Last night I went and saw Wonder Woman, the premiere of Wonder Woman, the new movie, and give it my highest personal recommendation.
Yeah.
I did go with a bunch of men.
Okay.
And then in the theater around me, I heard a bunch of men
Somehow that's not a shocker.
reacting to this. Now, you are one daughter of 5.
Right.
Is this something that would appeal to anybody in your family, a movie about Wonder Woman?
You know what? I haven't heard a single person in my household say, "Hey, let's go see Wonder Woman."
Okay.
In fact, I'm not even sure if they're aware that there is a new Wonder Woman movie.
Okay. Does the idea Wonder Woman is a superhero and she does punch people.
Yeah.
Does that appeal to you? Do you like those kind of movies?
I mean,
As from the female standpoint, because this is being, the reason I ask is because this is being shown as some kind of role model. In fact, in today's paper, Inspiration for the Next Generation, how Wonder Woman built a world of women on screen and off. So this is all about women.
Yeah.
This is for you. This is for you, Ariel.
Yeah. See, here's the thing when it comes to that. While I do like, movies and television shows with a strong female lead, I think sometimes it just gets pushed down our throats. Like, look, we got a girl and she's the lead. You should come watch this because you're a girl too.
Right.
Whoa, 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 whoa. What if I don't agree with that? You know?
Okay. All right.
I like Wonder Woman just as much as the next girl, but I think sometimes, and I guess because I have a son, I feel like sometimes the guys get left out. Yes.
That's not said very often, Ariel.
That's only said because, again, I have a son, and a lot of times we're watching Disney Channel, and all you have are princesses. Where are the boy shows at?
Okay. So now, aside from the gender part of it,
Right.
do you enjoy action movies where there is punching?
Yes, I do. I do.
Okay.
Like those are kind of more like the Denzel Washington action movies than so much Marvel comic
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
action movies.
I also am a big fan of Denzel Washington movies.
Yeah, he's good.
He can make a mediocre movie a much better movie just because
Right?
he's in it, and I buy into him.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, Ariel, thank you for explaining that. Yes, they're trying to make this into something special representing women, when the reality of it is it's just it's an entertaining movie.
Things get said
until I've weighed in on it.
Rush.
You don't really know.
Today, 11 to 2.
What it means.
News Radio 710, WNTM.
Been a conservative all my life. I want a senator with the guts to fight liberals and corrupt politicians. A conservative senator like Sessions and a tough outsider like Trump. Well, that's Big Luther Strange. As Attorney General, Big Luther fought Obama to protect our Second Amendment. He led a public corruption prosecution team that convicted a corrupt House Speaker, convicted dozens of corrupt public officials. Big Luther Strange followed Jeff Sessions as our senator. One tough conservative replacing another. Big Luther is working with President Trump to drain the swamp, deporting violent criminal aliens, building a border wall by cutting funds to sanctuary cities, and finally repealing Obamacare. Montgomery insiders don't like Big Luther's conservative record. Heck, politicians and liberals don't like Trump, but we do. Let's stand with a conservative who stands tall for us. That's Big Luther Strange, an Alabama conservative.
I'm Luther Strange, candidate for U.S. Senate. I approve this message.
Paid for and authorized by Strange for Senate.
Hey, this is Uncle Henry. I want to tell you about RVs Unlimited in Robertsdale. This is where you go to get a new RV, pre-owned RV, or to get your RV serviced. Jeremy Strickler, one of the owners of RVs Unlimited, explains that customer service is their top priority.
We look at our customers as we're here to serve them, and the money is the byproduct of what we do for them, but the main focus is taking care of our customers. We want you to come in and just relax, have fun, look at RVs, especially if you've never seen one before. You know, all the amenities of home are right there in the RV.
Yes, RVs these days are amazing, and they're affordable. When you go to RVs Unlimited, you're going to enjoy the buying experience. It's hassle-free. You'll never pay dealer fees again. So keep them in mind for a new RV.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show here on the CW55. Dare to defy, dare to live your life is the mission statement of the CW55. The radio listeners hearing about where to buy an RV. And also traffic and weather. We'll be back on the radio in a moment with Joe Gomez, NBC News Radio national correspondent, who covers President Trump and his administration, and we'll get the latest from him on the events of the last day. People are so mad. Not everybody, but so many people are mad about the climate deal. If President Trump had other things that he wanted to do that were going to irritate, I know just about anything he does irritates somebody. But this would be the time. If there's something really, really controversial he intends to do, he ought to go ahead and do it today. Because the whole weekend, the people on the news are going to be bashing him. Might as well do some more controversial stuff today. Get it all over with. Get it out of the way. All right, let's see. What else to get into? Again, great news economically, locally for Mobile County, in that we get an Amazon center, an Amazon facility, not the Amazons from like Wonder Woman, but Amazon, the website that you can buy things. Just like there's a Walmart distribution center being built in Mobile County, now an Amazon facility is being built, going to employ anywhere between 100 to 300 people. Wonderful, more great, just we've had several years here consecutively where we've had more jobs added to the Gulf Coast economy. What a wonderful thing. We went for quite a while in this part of the world struggling with getting these kind of jobs, and now they continue to arrive. What a wonderful, wonderful thing. This is there's Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez is calling in. All right, look, well, anyway, I'll talk more about that later on the show. Meanwhile, we have Joe Gomez. We're on the radio here in just a moment.
60% chance that a shower or thunderstorm will find you. And we've got basically the same forecast on tap for tomorrow and Sunday. Daytime highs each day in the mid-80s. I'm meteorologist John Nodar with the News 5 First Alert Storm Team.
Traffic updates every 10 minutes on the 9s every morning. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show or for watching it. Want to welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show NBC News Radio correspondent Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez, good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Joe Gomez, I went on Facebook last night, and people were so mad at President Trump. They were saying, this is it. This is the final straw. And I'm thinking he hasn't been president that long. The camel's back needs to get a little bit stronger. There's going to be a lot more straw, Joe Gomez. So tell us, I saw the reaction from the mayor of Pittsburgh that he didn't like being name dropped. What about the other reaction to what President Trump said yesterday?
Oh, there's so much negative reaction coming in. You know, it's really kind of hard to keep tabs on it all. But like Al Gore said that this was going to damage humanity's ability to solve the climate crisis. President Obama said it was up to cities and states now to pave the way. The ACLU actually said this was a massive step back for racial justice. And I thought that was kind of curious. But I guess they maintained that a lot of minority communities live closer to industrial plants, and so that's how it could become a race issue. But yeah, there's been a lot of reaction pouring in, basically saying that Trump is going to be responsible for the apocalypse. And the New York Daily News had a headline that read, "Trump to world, drop dead."
So, and yet this is being reported as a voluntary agreement, but it doesn't sound voluntary to me. Because pulling out seems to really, really set people off.
Yeah, I think that, there was, I guess as part of this agreement, there were suggested regulations to be put in place to curb greenhouse gas emissions and that the U.S. would, I guess add more regulations to that, to basically maintaining the decrease in greenhouse gas emissions, and it could affect some businesses and so forth. The way the president outlined it yesterday, he said that if this agreement was going to stay in place and the U.S. was going to be a signatory of it, that it would cost millions of industrial sector jobs, that the price for energy would skyrocket, that ultimately average households would be paying thousands of more dollars to heat and cool their homes. Meanwhile, other countries like China could actually increase their emissions for decades and not really have to change anything, while the U.S. is potentially hemorrhaging jobs and money.
Now, Joe Gomez, NBC News Radio national correspondent, we had a lot of people in the business community that were in favor of staying in this deal. And I guess some of it is because they want to do business with other countries and don't want to be penalized in their international business. But even though a lot of business was in favor of staying in the deal, after the president made his speech, didn't the stock market do great? It didn't seem to affect the stock market.
No, you're right. After everything was said and done yesterday, the stock market had a pretty nice close of business. And the NASDAQ, I guess, set record closing highs. So as much as some business leaders, I guess, were concerned about this, ultimately it doesn't seem to be immediately having a tremendous impact. But you have the CEOs of Disney and the founder of Tesla, for instance, saying that they're no longer going to be part of any kind of White House advisory councils. And I guess that was a sacrifice that the president was willing to make in pulling out of this agreement.
Okay, before we run out of time here, and I know we'll have an entire weekend of people analyzing this Paris climate deal and the ramifications, what about the Russian investigation? Are there any new developments?
Well, the big thing that everybody's looking forward to in this is that former FBI Director James Comey is going to be testifying before the Senate Intelligence Committee next Thursday. So we have to wait. Kind of like waiting for a blockbuster movie to come out, because it's going to be very fascinating. But that's going to be, I think, the latest solid development in this is that Comey will speak publicly.
Well, you say we have to wait like it's a blockbuster movie. I'm sure that we'll have some previews leaked of what he's going to say in the next few days. We'll hear rumors of what he's set to say before he actually says it.
Yeah, I think you're right. And there have already been some leaks indicating that Comey's going to say that Trump had put pressure on him to abandon the investigation of Trump's former national security advisor. So, that may just be the beginning. But we'll see. We'll see if the movie lives up to the reviews or what the ending's going to be like. I don't know.
All right, Joe Gomez, thank you so much for your time. Have a great weekend.
Okay, thanks.
There he goes, Joe Gomez, NBC News Radio national correspondent. People mad about that climate deal. I keep thinking that people are going to run out of the energy. People are just mad. It seems like they're mad all the time, every day. And that has to be exhausting. Well, who knows? We will all find out. As Fred Richardson would say, time holds the answer to everything, and time will all know. We're almost out of time here in this hour. Now, we're going to be, even though it seems like we've been on radio for numerous hours, we're going to continue on radio, on News Radio 710 WNTM and 99.5 FM The Jag, with several more hours of Uncle Henry Show. For you, the TV viewer, if you'd like to continue watching, you can watch on Facebook by going to the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page, or you can go to the Uncle Henry Show YouTube channel, subscribe there, and we do live streaming video on YouTube as well. And you can also find previous shows there if there's something you want to review from any of the previous shows. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I'm certainly looking forward to, I'm going to set aside some time not to pay attention to the people that are so angry. No offense to all the angry people, but I'm going to set aside some time to consider some other things over the weekend. And then we'll all get back here together Monday morning and compare notes. Don't forget, you can meet Ariel today from noon to 2. She'll be broadcasting live at Metro PCS, Pleasant Valley Road in Mobile. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.